Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges going on right now to come to an agreement about this bill?
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, plans to expand the school voucher program in Tennessee are dead for this year. State lawmakers failed to agree on how to implement it.
Well, Governor Bill Lee, who made it his top priority for this legislature, says he's disappointed. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the state capitol tonight with reaction from lawmakers and whether they could be called back in for special session.
Yes, some Democrats say that this is a huge win for Tennessee families and for public education, while some of the Republicans that we spoke with say that they're very disappointed after spending countless hours trying to work out an agreement. Supporters of the school voucher bill say it would have given Tennessee families more of a choice, using taxpayer money to help cover private school tuition. There were 3 versions of the bill: the governor's, House, and Senate, and all 3 parties could not reach an agreement by the end of this session. And what do you think are the biggest challenges going on right now to come to an agreement about this bill?
Well, the Senate had a simpler version of the bill, more closely aligned with what the governor originally proposed. The House wanted to address some other issues relative to public education, traditional public schools, and some of those were good ideas, but some of those the Senate was not comfortable with.
Senator Johnson explains Republicans are not in disagreement about school choice, but some Democrats say they're happy this bill did not pass.
This voucher scam would have been a major blow to public education, and so this is more about a win for Tennessee families than a loss for Governor Bill Lee or this Republican supermajority.
Representative John Ray Clemens calls it a school voucher scam that undermines public education. Fox 17 News reached out to Governor Bill Lee, and he says, quote, "I am extremely disappointed for families who will have to wait yet another year for the freedom to choose their right education for their child. This is about every Tennessee student having the opportunity to succeed." Governor Lee adds there is not a pathway for the bill during this legislative session. We asked if Governor Lee would hold a special session, but he did not answer this question. And session could end this week, and Senator Johnson says that they will be working really hard on the bill throughout the summer and fall to have it ready to go by next session. Reporting live from the state capitol, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage as we see yet another protest over the bill to allow Tennessee teachers to carry guns on campus. The state Senate passed the plan, but so far there's been no movement in the House. Insiders say it's a sign GOP leaders don't have the votes as the session winds down. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker with both sides of that debate tonight.
As a reminder, this bill would allow teachers the option to be armed. They'd also have to complete at least 40 hours of training and undergo background checks and psych evaluations.
Ahead of a House session on Monday, a group of students protesting outside the Capitol asked legislators to vote no on a House bill to give teachers the ability to be armed in Tennessee schools.
What we're fighting against?
This includes Soraya Shaw, a senior at Hume-Fogg and one of the organizers of the protests.
I'm leaving also next year. I'm going to school abroad, and I really don't want to leave Tennessee as it is right now. I really don't want this bill to get pushed to next year or this bill to get passed, and so that students who I'm leaving behind are continuing to have to fight against this.
Covenant mom Sarah Shoup Newman bringing a stack of signatures to lawmakers with more than 5,300 names in opposition of the bill.
And I just wanted to make sure that it was shared with everybody and they could have a chance to see what their constituents thought.
Newman says she'd rather see more armed SROs in schools.
Well, I do support armed security in schools. I know some people do not. I personally do. I couldn't send my son to school anymore without that. I'm just asking that we please not put that burden on our teachers.
For the last week, I've tried to get a one-on-one interview with House Republican lawmakers to hear their side, but they haven't made themselves available. However, I did sit down with a former teacher, now active shooter mitigation trainer, Gloria Mays, who feels arming teachers could be a huge asset to schools.
A school's ability to respond in a timely manner is going to be the #1 indicator on the ability to save lives. So the unfortunate reality is you don't have time to just sit and wait for police to arrive, because by the time they get there, majority of the killing is already done.
Newman, that Covenant mom that you just heard from, says she's had really respectful conversations with both Senator Bailey and State Rep Ryan Williams. She says that Senator Bailey added some of her suggestions onto the bill, like the requirement for training, field training that is, and she also says she appreciates the receptiveness, but she also wishes that she had more time with Rep Williams to adjust the bill even more so. For now, reporting from the Capitol, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story you'd like to see us cover, send an email to news@fox17.com or phone our tip line at 615-266-4149.
What would you say to those residents in that area who feel like this is taking a long time?
Tonight, in the high cost of homelessness, Fox 17 News continues to track the reopening of Brookmead Park. The park was one of the largest homeless camps in Nashville for more than a decade before the city closed it down in January of 2023. So when will it reopen? Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin has been covering Brookmead Park for more than 2 years. Tonight, she has the latest.
It's been almost a year and a half since the homeless encampment at Brookmead Park closed. While the city housed those living at the park, it's left residents questioning why the reopening is taking so long.
If you walked into Brookmead Park a few years ago, you would see something way different than you'd see today. Through our public records requests, we found many incidents having to do with crime, drug activity, fires, and even deaths. But after residents put pressure on the city to do something about what they felt was a dangerous encampment, the city housed those community members living there. But why is the park slated to open in 2025?
What would you say to those residents in that area who feel like this is taking a long time?
In January of this year, the bid was released, and so it takes time. It didn't. We know how long it's been. It didn't get to this state, this state overnight, and so we've got to get to the place where we can get it back, opened up.
The Metro Parks Board Chair says after cleanup, they had community engagement and are now in the procurement process, currently waiting for documents to finalize the contractor.
How do you plan to secure the park to make sure that it doesn't go back to the way that it was, let's say, 2 years ago?
We want to make sure that the park is patrolled like other parks are. As soon as we see evidence of maybe an encampment beginning or crime, we hope that residents will give us a call, give police a call to let us know that it's happening.
As for what folks can expect to see once the park reopens, Steele says the topography of the park makes it challenging for the contractors to put in some of the ideas the community suggested, like pickleball courts or a place to have concerts. So they plan to restore the park to what it looked like originally, which mainly had walking trails. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, now we want to know what you think. Should homeless people be allowed to sleep on public property? Almost 650 votes coming in on the issue, and almost 75% of people say no. 25.2% say yes. This poll is live right now, so there's still time to cast your vote. Just scan that QR code right there on the right hand of your screen. It will take you over to our X page where you can vote, and we'll show you updated poll results here a little later in the newscast.
Another chilly night expected as we head into the overnight hours. It won't be as cold as this morning. We bottomed out at 37 here in Nashville and did have some frosty areas as well. For us tonight, though, everyone remains frost free with temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s. And we do expect warmer weather for the week ahead. Generally, a pretty quiet week ahead, which I'm excited about. I don't know about you. 42 our temperature for the overnight. We're looking at about 40 out toward the plateau. 40 McMinnville, Murfreesboro could hit the upper 30s with Clarksville right around 42 degrees for early Tuesday morning. A mainly clear sky expected. We've had nice weather today, and today at 67 will be the coolest of the next several days. We're sitting at 56 for the moment, but we'll continue to see that number drop as we head into the evening hours tonight with a couple clouds around. Our next rain chance will come from this front and won't arrive until tomorrow night about this time. Tomorrow evening, we may be tracking some showers to our north and to the west. As far as temperatures go for tomorrow morning, looking to be again on the cool side. We should be hovering in those upper 30s to around 40 or so as we go through the morning hours here. So right around 42 in the city, upper 30s possible outside of city centers. We'll talk more about the rain chance on the way for Tuesday night and another chance for rain possibly this weekend. Plus we have your marathon forecast all coming up.
Also had a well thought out plan to steal your money. Why you need to take a second look before paying any parking tickets.
30 hometown heroes so far. We need your help to find more. Go to PonceLaw.com, nominate a person, family, or organization today. They could be our next hometown hero.
Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police issue an official warning about a parking ticket scheme. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse at Metro's North Precinct with what you need to know.
This is what looks like a legit parking ticket, but Metro Police want to warn you, this is not a real parking ticket.
It reads Metro Nashville parking violation. Offense, illegally parked. Amount due, if paid within 3 days, $25. After 3 days, $50. Scan QR code. Metro Police say tickets that look like that one are not real, and it's popping up around the Midtown Hills area. This is a Metro government, whether it be MNPD or Nashville Department of Transportation, parking ticket. It has a parking violation notice at the top. It says right here, State of Tennessee, Davidson County, Metropolitan General Sessions Court. And in big red letters on the bottom, a warning about failing to show up in court will result in a warrant.
Metro Police want us to warn you, if you see a ticket like this, do not pay and call the non-emergency line. The fraud unit needs as much information as they can so they can catch these crooks. Reporting in North Nashville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9, an issue putting all of our safety at risk. Violent criminals released on low or no bond at all. Some of them going right back out into the streets to commit even worse crimes. Anton Rucker, a man with a long violent criminal history out on bond in Rutherford County, is accused of opening fire in a busy Nashville restaurant Easter Sunday. One person died in that gunfire. Experts say this is just one of many examples happening here in Tennessee.
He was a felon. He was carrying a weapon. He had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
Well, Thursday night, Dennis Ferrier begins to paint a startling picture with example after example of how the system is failing public safety in Middle Tennessee. Our Fox 17 News investigation starts Thursday at 9.
All right, let's talk about the weather after a cooler than normal weekend compared to what we have had. Kind of warmed up today.
Not too bad, right?
Nice.
Yeah, it was. And actually today is going to be the coolest day of the next several.
No kidding.
All right, we're almost through with that.
I know.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, we had a pretty frosty start too, so I'm sure a lot of us are ready to move on from that and enjoy some warmer weather. Hey, happy Earth Day, by the way. Thought we'd start off with a couple facts from Tennessee here. Did you know that Tennessee is home to 14 million acres of forest, 11 million acres of cropland, 500,000 acres of lakes, and 244,000 acres of the Smoky Mountains are right here in Tennessee. Some cool facts, I think, for Earth Day. Let's check out some of our rain chances for the week ahead. We are looking at a small rain chance to late tomorrow night and into early Wednesday. It's not going to amount to much in the rain gauge. In fact, our rain chances all week right now aren't looking to be big rainmakers for us. At least the way it's looking right now. Dry for Thursday and then a few pop-up showers as we head towards Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe a little bit better chance as we head into early next week. 63 our temperature at 10 o'clock for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine expected with those temperatures climbing into the low 70s for the afternoon. We're up to about 74 as we head into the later part of the day. So we'll climb a good at least 5, maybe 7 degrees from where we were this afternoon. So walking you through future track, hardly a cloud through the day tomorrow. Future track really isn't picking up too many, so expect the sky to be just as beautifully blue as it was this afternoon. As we get into tomorrow evening, a couple clouds around, and then late tomorrow night, about this time, in fact, tomorrow evening, we'll likely be tracking a few of these light showers along the front as it marches in. Until then, clear skies will be the story. So Tuesday, 10 p.m., showers push through. Very light. You may or may not see rain. It's not going to be, again, a good rainmaker for all of us here. This is 2 a.m. And then notice as we head towards 5 a.m., we'll start the day on the cloudy note. Along with that, a few light showers around for the morning commute, but should clear as we go into the later part of the morning and into the afternoon. For tonight, we're looking at that temperature around 42. Clear sky this evening. The moon almost full. It will be full officially tomorrow evening, so it likely appears full tonight as well. The full pink moon, in fact, of April, right around 42, and looking at that temperature around 74. For tomorrow. We'll talk more about the warmer weather on the way when the 80s return, and we'll have a look at your marathon forecast. That's all coming up.
One trial, two tales, laying out a Trump timeline of events. I'm Christine Frizzell with a closer look at the opening statements in this unprecedented case.
Is that in your background said former U.S. Marine. You can trust them. I knew when you'd say something to me, I didn't have to wonder if you were telling me the truth.
Well, new tonight, the First Lady making a stop right here in Music City. Dr. Jill Biden was in Nashville for the Walking After Midnight tribute to Patsy Cline at the Ryman. The show featured a number of performances from music artists like Kelly Pickler, Wynonna, and Pat Benatar.
In politics tonight, State Representative Justin Jones will have to wait until May the 2nd to find out whether his name will officially appear on the August primary ballot. The National Lawmakers Qualifying Petition contains 26 signatures, just one more than is required by law. One of his signatures has already been ruled invalid because the person lives in another district. 10 others are in question. The Metro Election Commission met in special session this afternoon to set rules for the upcoming hearing to determine whether Jones gets on the ballot.
My assumption is that after we have the presentation from both parties, that we would vote to determine ultimately whether we think the signatures work or not on that at that same meeting, and not wait until the setting the ballot meeting the next day. Is that right?
That's at least my understanding.
Jones and the Republican challenger in this case, Laura Nelson, have until Wednesday to provide the Election Commission here in town with the evidence they plan to present. The plan is for the commission to set the August ballot May the 3rd, one day after the upcoming hearing.
Well, both sides came out swinging. That's one expert's reaction to opening statements in the criminal trial of former President Trump. Prosecutors said this case is about a criminal conspiracy and a cover-up. Mr. Trump's legal team said he's innocent when it comes to payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell following the trial. And by the way, you can vote during this story by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen.
Thank you very much.
For Donald Trump's legal team, the strategy seemed to be downplay, disparage, and dismiss. In his opening statements, his attorney Todd Blanche characterizing the 34 charges of falsifying records as a, quote, business records violation that Trump himself knew nothing about. Also painting his former attorney Michael Cohen as a proven liar, adding, quote, his entire financial livelihood depends on President Trump's destruction.
It's a two-part defense for the Trump legal team. It's that you can't trust Michael Cohen, and the former president didn't do anything wrong. This was a little paperwork that he didn't have anything to do with.
Donald Trump himself also once again downplaying the case as politically motivated.
This is done as election interference. Everybody knows it.
Election interference, the center of prosecutors' key arguments, detailing the history of the Access Hollywood tape released just before the 2016 election.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
And alleged hush money payments that followed, including to adult film star Stormy Daniels, for the purpose of hiding the information from voters and therefore influencing the outcome of the election. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo adding, quote, it was election fraud, pure and simple.
The prosecution have made this a bigger case, not just about financial records, but really as an effort to not publicly disclose information to the public to win an election through illegal means.
But Trump's defenders insist he's innocent and argue the case should never have been brought.
If this was an election
interference matter, the federal government should have prosecuted it, and they didn't, or the Federal Election Commission should have gone after it, but they didn't.
Looking ahead, David Pecker is expected to be back in court answering questions on Tuesday. He was granted immunity in exchange for his testimony, which will likely focus on Donald Trump's knowledge of those alleged hush money payments. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code with a poll asking you, do you think Donald Trump's hush money trial is legitimate or a witch hunt? And we've had over 500 people weighing in on this. Most people, 76.5%, say it's a witch hunt. 23.5% say it's legitimate. Thanks for voting.
Challenging laws targeting the homeless, how a Supreme Court decision could impact Tennessee.
TikTok vows to fight back as Congress.
Start a conversation with a doctor who listens at Ascension St. Thomas.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
In the high cost of homelessness, Tennessee is one of only a few states in the country where it is illegal to camp on public property. The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments today on this very issue on behalf of a group of homeless people in Grant Pass, Oregon. Joining us now with more on that, India Pungarcher from Open Table Nashville, a local nonprofit that advocates for the homeless, who is in Washington for this hearing. India, thank you for doing this. If you will, please outline the argument before the court and how significant you think a ruling in this case could be.
Yes, thank you so much for having us and covering this very historic moment in terms of housing and homelessness advocacy. The question before the court today was very simple. It was asking whether or not it is legal or constitutional for communities to fine, cite, or arrest people that are on public property using a blanket or pillow. So nothing about encampments, nothing about camping, but simply can people use a blanket or pillow on public property. And so this has the potential to affect anyone experiencing homelessness who is sleeping or staying outdoors for decades to come.
We're interested, of course, because this decision could impact Tennessee and more specifically Nashville. As I read about the case in Oregon, as I understand it, one of the differences between there and here is the homeless people there have no public shelter they can turn to. We do have options here. Does that make any difference in your mind in terms of the argument impacting us?
In our mind, it doesn't, because while there may be more options, particularly in Nashville right now, our Nashville rescue mission is full. It's been operating over capacity. And so while there maybe are multiple different shelters that people can, in theory, attempt to gain access to, they're full right now. And that's not just happening in Nashville. We're seeing that across the state of Tennessee. And so we're not that far away or not that different from what's happening in Grants Pass on the ground.
Sure. I read some analysis that suggested the high court could say, you know, while we're sympathetic, we really don't have standing here to be hearing this argument. How concerned are you that we won't get a national answer and they'll push it back down to the local level?
We have heard some rumblings that is indeed a possibility. But, you know, it's all hearsay, right? We will not know until the Supreme Court comes out with a decision, whether that is, as you said, relying on the previous ruling, which is out of the Ninth Circuit, which did say that, you know, communities like Grants Pass cannot fine, cite, or arrest people on public property using a blanket or pillow.
One last question, and then just a short time we have left. How big is the homeless problem in Nashville?
That is a great question. It depends on what numbers you look at, and any sort of quantitative measure we have of people experiencing homelessness. We know that's a huge undercount because homelessness is hard to quantify. It's a state that people transition in and out of. So on any given night, you know, 4,000 people in Nashville experiencing homelessness at the very least.
India Pungarcher with Open Table Nashville, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you for having me, and thank you again for covering this issue.
Well, looking ahead, the Senate expected to pass a package on foreign aid. Also included a measure to force TikTok's current Chinese parent company to sell the social media site or be banned here in the U.S. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar explains how this would work and how TikTok plans to fight back.
This time next year, Americans on TikTok may be a thing of the past.
The bill is passed without objection.
On Saturday, when the House passed a bill to force Beijing-based ByteDance to sell TikTok, an eventual ban of the popular app started to look inevitable.
The idea that we would give the Communist Party this much of a propaganda tool, as well as the ability to scrape 170 million Americans' personal data, it is a national security risk.
ByteDance does not want to sell, and even if it did, China has indicated it would not allow it. Export controls allow its government to prevent the sale of TikTok's algorithm. TikTok, which is headquartered in Los Angeles and Singapore, plans to fight back. In an internal memo to staff, the company said if the bill becomes law, they would challenge it in court. It's likely they'd argue the same thing they have in public, that a ban violates the First Amendment.
We're spending $2 billion to make sure that we're keeping TikTok safe. We have a U.S.-led team.
TikTok executives trying to counter Washington's narrative.
We have not been asked for any data by the Chinese government, and we have never provided it.
But according to recent reporting, during meetings with congressional staff, Chinese embassy officials sought to claim the company as Chinese. The Senate will start voting on this as soon as Tuesday, and it is expected to pass. The president says he supports the text and is eager to sign it into law. Then the countdown on TikTok's presence in the U.S. begins. ByteDance would have 9 months to sell TikTok to a buyer that is not controlled by a foreign adversary. The president could then grant a 3-month extension if a viable sale isn't yet finalized. Some of the 170 million Americans on TikTok aren't shy about what they think.
This is going to be the reason why I hate the federal government.
Like, the government can take away a literal app on our phones, and we're supposed to believe we're free?
The timing of the expected law gives its supporters some cover. Its ultimate result wouldn't be clear until after the November election. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Nishar reporting.
Mainly clear skies tonight and a dry night ahead here with hardly a cloud in the sky may make for good viewing of the almost full moon. It is officially full tomorrow. April full moon, the pink moon. And again, that'll be full at 6:49 tomorrow evening. Other names include the sprouting grass moon, the egg moon, and the fish moon for April. And even though it is officially full tomorrow, it'll appear full tonight and possibly Wednesday night as well. But viewing for tonight should be great with mainly clear skies. We will have a little bit of cloud cover coming in for Tuesday night and Wednesday with a few showers on the way also. Want to look ahead to the weekend here. We've got the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon going on this Saturday. And right now I would say running, not looking too bad for the weather here. Temperatures will be in the upper 60s, so somewhat of a warm race. Runners like the cooler weather. 40s, even 50s is perfect for running in the morning hours, and we'll be climbing into those low 70s. Something else I'm a little concerned about is just the wind, because it's not fun to run in breezy weather. And we are going to be looking at south winds to pick up 10 to 20 miles per hour through Saturday, some gusts up to 25. Right now, though, as far as rain is concerned, it does look dry. I do have a stray shower chance in the forecast for Saturday, but it's looking like that may not come in until later in the afternoon and the evening hours. So overall, not bad. I'd say a little on the warm side for running. We'll have more on what you can expect as we head into the later half of the weekend and looking more into the beginning of May. It's coming up.
Nashville Predators with a rough for $279 a month.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Frustrating. The game was there for us. And yeah, when they got momentum, we just didn't kind of respond the way we normally do. So it's a lesson for us. You know, it happens. It's been a while since we played, and yeah, we make our adjustments and we get back at it.
Preds already down 1 game in their first round series against the Vancouver Canucks. And like Ryan O'Reilly said, they have to make adjustments quick because game 2 is less than 24 hours away. Out in Rogers Arena, you couldn't even hear the whistle blow at times. Despite the loss, the Preds thought it was encouraging they were still able to stay poised in the playoff environment.
It's always emotional, it's loud, a lot of momentum swings, but yeah, I felt we kept our composure and you know, stuff happens out there.
The game was there for us. You know, a couple lapses. You know, I'm sure a lot of guys want some shifts back. You know, I know I do. I know I have a lot better.
They get 2-1 Preds lead, but then after that, their power play unit went cold and finished the night 1 for 4.
We were just a little bit not quite the pace that I'd like us to tack at.
Preds will need to make that power play adjustment quickly. Game 2 set for 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Then the series returns to Smashville Friday for Game 3, 6:30 puck drop at Bridgestone Arena, and then Game 4 set for next Sunday. The NCAA with 2 major rule changes today. First, a new unlimited transfer rule. Student athletes who transfer will now be eligible to play immediately, regardless of whether they transferred before. The previous rule had them sit out 1 season if they had transferred before. Now, the second rule change deals with NIL. Schools can now identify NIL opportunities and help facilitate deals between athletes and third parties, similar to the Vols lawsuit back at the start of the new year. Now, of course, we have the Stanley Cup playoffs going on, but that's not the only thing this week. The NFL draft kicks off Thursday with the first round, where the Titans have the number 7 pick overall. We'll hear from the Titans tomorrow. They're holding their usual pre-draft press conference, so I'll have much more on their strategy and who the Titans are looking at leading up to day 1. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, we'll talk more about what we can expect throughout the day tomorrow. Also, a look ahead at what we could see going into the beginning of May. It's in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
The Main Street Festival presented by First Horizon Bank, sponsored by Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
In tonight's Spotlight on America, the EPA establishing national standards for PFAS and PFOS in the drinking water.
These are 2 categories of toxic forever chemicals that have been linked to cancer. Fox 17 News' Lisa Fletcher, the very latest now on calls for action that are now finally being answered.
PFAS are known as forever chemicals because they never break down. But they build up in our blood and organs and have been tied to serious health issues like cancer, reproductive harm, and developmental delays in children. Yet they remain in the drinking water of millions of Americans. We saw it firsthand in 2022 when we tested drinking water in the nation's capital. We collected samples everywhere, from suburban homes and businesses to the halls of the U.S. Capitol and even out of the faucets at the headquarters of the agency in charge, the EPA. More than a third contained PFOA, considered one of the most dangerous chemicals. In 2 of our tests in suburban Virginia homes, the results were more than 1,200 times higher than levels the EPA was recommending at the time.
The EPA has understood the harms caused by PFAS since at least 1998, but failed to act for a long time. So this announcement is a really big deal because people have waited decades to have cleaner water.
Scott Faber is the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs at the Environmental Working Group.
You deal with a lot of very serious issues when it comes to toxins and our health and our environment. How serious is PFAS among them?
These chemicals are toxic at extremely, extremely low levels. Every time we study them, we learn they are even more toxic than we previously understood.
The new limits are up to 17 times lower than the guidelines the agency had been working off of since 2016.
PFAS is everywhere. PFAS is in the blood of polar bears. We found it at the top of Mount Everest. They're in everyone's blood. They're in every water system.
But Faber says the Biden administration has allocated $10 billion to upgrade water treatment facilities with the technology to reduce these chemicals.
We made an agreement with this country that they would take care of us people.
Activist and actor Mark Ruffalo, who's been on the ground in some of the hardest hit communities and has testified before Congress along with Faber on the issue, said the announcement is too late for those who were poisoned by PFAS polluters without their knowledge or consent, but that the new rules bring justice to families for what can only be described as one of the greatest environmental crimes in our history.
It's been decades since the EPA first understood that PFAS was toxic and building up in our bodies. This is an extraordinarily long time coming, but finally, communities will know that the water they're drinking is safer.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
All right, let's talk about the weather again. We got Monday going pretty well for us. How about the rest of the week?
The rest of the week's not looking too bad. I mean, given late April, you kind of get a little bit of everything, it seems like.
Just roll the dice.
It's good, yeah, rolling the dice, and I think we got a good one this time. We'll be in the 70s to low 80s, maybe a few rain chances here or there. Not even looking at a good chance of thunderstorms this week, so I really think we are lucking out here for the next couple of days. Now, it's not that we're not going to be rain-free. We will see a few showers around, but I don't see anything really well organized, at least. We'll say that. Here's a look at tomorrow. Temperatures around 11 a.m. in those mid to upper 60s here. We'll be looking at a bit of a breeze, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those temperatures continue to climb into the low 70s as we head towards 2, and then into the later afternoon hours, topping off in those mid 70s for the day. Winds remain at about 10 to 15 miles per hour as we go through the afternoon hours, and then into Tuesday night, we'll start to see those numbers drop. Won't be quite as cool either. Tonight will be chilly again in the low 40s, but should be looking at temperatures in the mid 50s or so as we head through the early morning hours on Wednesday, and that's due to some extra cloud cover that'll be around. Have another event going on this weekend, Main Street Festival in Franklin. We'll look at temperatures in those low 80s in Franklin. We are looking at a few warm days here, a little on the breezy side, as I was mentioning, for the marathon on Saturday. Winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20 to 25. But the good news is we are mainly dry for both days. Not completely rain-free, but I would say the majority of the day right now is looking dry compared to wet. And then we look ahead to our 8 to 14 day outlook here. So now we're stepping into May with April 30th to May 6th as the time frame. This is a look at temperatures, and clearly we can see above average conditions that look to continue for us into the beginning of May. And as far as our rain chances go, kind of in that equal chance category, at least from the Climate Prediction Center, where slightly above average weather or rain expected to our west, possibly slightly below average down near the Florida Panhandle. So again, it'll be something we keep our eye on, but overall not too bad for the beginning of May, just a little on the warm side. Now remember, average for this time of year is around 75 or so. We get into the beginning of May, we're going to be approaching those upper 70s for our average high into the low 80s. And that's what we're basically going to see this week here. So mid 70s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do have that one front coming through Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then 80s moving in for the weekend here. Some pop-up showers, breezy conditions Saturday, and then maybe a little bit better chance for rain moving in by Monday next week.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
New tonight, congratulations to one of our own as Fox 17 reporter Caitlin Miller wins several medals at the U.S. Open Pickleball Championship down in Naples, Florida.
Well, Caitlin came home with 3 medals, a gold in the women's doubles, a silver in another women's doubles event, and bronze in the mixed doubles. All her partners from right here in Middle Tennessee. Caitlin credits her success to Nashville's competitive and supportive pickleball community. Well, way to go, Caitlin.
So exciting for her. I know she's been looking forward to this too.
Yeah.
She's a great athlete.
Yeah.
You know, she was saying that, had a big competition last year, didn't do well, and, the next year you do great. I mean, what a difference, 1 year can make.
Yeah.
She could go pro.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Could. Well, a shocking